go. So welcome. We want to welcome everybody to the grand opening, the first episode, the birth of our new podcast. You heard what I said. And then, you know what? I want to ask y'all, when we came up with the name, and I know we got the exclamation point at the end, I'm like, how do y'all hear it being said? Do y'all hear somebody yelling it like, you heard what I said? Because I say it like, you heard what I said. You know what I'm saying? Like with an attitude, you heard what I said.
It depends on
how do you hear
what I'm talking about. It depends on what I'm talking about.
I see somebody clapping their hands like.
Exactly. Yeah.
You heard what I said.
Depending on the topic, I'm like, no, so you heard what I said. You know what I mean? You get some of that, or if you're talking to a lady friend that's like, yo, you heard what I said. Okay. You talk some funny shit in the ear. So you look at you crazy.
We don't know about that.
No, y'all married. Y'all do it more than I do. Trust, I hope.
Nah, because I just always hear it like saying it real calm. Like when somebody say, "What?" I'm like, "You heard what I said." Like, don't play. That's how I always hear it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, depending on who said it, you know what I'm saying, and how they, what that infliction is, then you might know.
And what you said.
Apologize and just yeah, exactly. Depending on what you said to elicit that. Hey, yo, you heard what I said, right? that can mean something else. Like you might need to chill, or your parents to say, "Yo, you heard what I said." You know
like I always hear it being said with an attitude. Like with an attitude, like
it's an attitude, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely
an attitude behind it.
Yeah, some force behind it.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, you probably wanted it to end after that, whatever conversation was going on.
Regardless, so now y'all know how we like to hear it. Anyway, we want to welcome y'all, and we're just gonna get into some topics. It's no rhyme or reason. It's just three brothers about to get into some real stuff. 40 plus over here. You know what I'm saying? A certain demographic, but we welcome everybody. So we're just gonna get into it. And the first thing I want to get into, of course, because it just happened this weekend, was we all attended Morgan State University. Big up the HBCUs, specifically Morgan.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? And this was our homecoming weekend. But this was our first COVID stay at homecoming weekend. Like we had a virtual happy hour. You know what I'm saying?
Which was dope.
A virtual happy hour, son. Like that's crazy to me. Like that's our life right now. Watching watching our boys DJ on television while I'm typing on my phone and watching my friends type. That's how we interact now. I had a drink in my hand, dancing in my living room. Talking to my people while the DJ's on it's wild to me. How y'all feel about it?
I think somebody mentioned this a while ago. I saw a meme on it on social media, how for us, like HBCUs, if you attend an HBCU, a homecoming is different for you. You know what I'm saying? None of the people that I know that went to, quote unquote white schools, they don't talk about their homecoming. You know what I'm saying? It's not a thing. They very rarely keep in touch with a bunch of people from their college days. So it's not that, it's just a separate, feeling for them. I think if you go to a school that got a good sports team, if you go to a predominantly white institution, excuse me, then it might be cool to go see your team beat up a team or something like that. But it's different than walking on campus and seeing everybody that you haven't seen before, saying what's up to people whose name you can't remember, whose face you can remember though. You know what I'm saying? You just give them, yo, what's good? How everything? So I think it's a different feeling. So I think missing that when you want it to go, like I missed it because sometimes I've been out here in California and I just decided not to go that year, something like that. Right. But not being able to go, and I haven't been in 2 years, so I was looking forward to going this year.
Yeah.
So not being, it was 2020. I think a lot of people that haven't been coming were coming back because it was 2020. I think this has been just a fly year, you know what I'm saying, for HBCU homecomings. I think it would have been just dope. But the thing that makes our homecomings great is the things that would have killed us if we went there this year. You know what I'm saying? Being on the yard and and partying and shit like that. So
yelling and spitting on each other.
Yeah, yelling at each other, chilling.
No social distancing.
Yeah, no social distancing.
Social distance on the bridge.
Yeah. You can't do none of that stuff. You can't even share L with somebody like that. So it's it's a whole nother vibe.
Homecoming is the absolute opposite of social distancing. All they got to
Exactly.
see is our welcome bridge at Morgan State. All they got to see is that bridge right there. It's like it's like less than 6 inches from
Yeah,
each other. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? It's
And we
crazy.
like it that way.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
like it that way. It was even better.
So being that this was our first stay at homecoming, hopefully, this COVID thing will be out of here. We can get back to our regularly scheduled programs 2021.
Is it ever going to be regularly scheduled though? Like, I mean, is it ever going to be like that again?
You're right. Like, who knows?
Let me ask you a question.
It's going to be
a
while before that.
The world's going to open up in 2021 to some, extent, and there are going to be homecomings and stuff next year. How are you going to feel about going to homecoming 12 months from now? I mean, like, say they do got say they do have a vaccine, right? Mm-hmm. You don't know anybody that look like you that's excited about going to take that vaccine. Number one,
no.
You know what I'm saying? Nobody black, and they're not taking it themselves. They're not giving it to their kids. We not. Y'all got us with the Tuskegee experiment. Y'all got us. It won't happen again. You know what I'm saying?
I don't take the flu vaccine.
Yeah, I don't take the flu vaccine. So something y'all been rushing, and then gonna give the contract to the lowest bidder. Y'all think I'm gonna stand in line for that? So
I saw some high school student on TV talking about a vaccine she came up with.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, well, so next year are we like, for example, next year is our 30th anniversary, TTC.
Right.
Under normal circumstances, we'd have been planning a whole bunch of crazy stuff to, do during that time to, celebrate just, being together for that long and our friends and stuff that we cool with.
Right.
But now it's like, I'm not trying to be in no party with 500 people. I ain't trying to be in a party with 200 people.
Right. I mean,
not no closed venue.
I mean, think about it. Even if like tomorrow on the news, everybody, CDC was like, it's gone. It's not going to happen again. Guaranteed. People are not going to believe that, and they're changed forever, regardless of what people say. Even if they say the coast is clear, y'all can come outside. People are always gonna be carrying hand sanitizer. Always going to be mindful. Like regardless, people are always going to be mindful, way more mindful than before now.
Just and we can't trust
what you've been used to.
Right.
And we can't trust y'all. We say that nobody on TV telling us nothing about that stuff. Can we really, really trust right now? There's some people we trust more than others. Like I trust Fauci more than I trust, 45, of course.
I'm not with Fauci.
I trust him more than I trust Pence. Yeah, I like him, but it's like it's just too much coming from that side, and it's coming from that arena.
If Trump don't like him, I like him.
You know what I'm saying? But I look at it like this. When it comes to that, one side, it's for both sides, it's all about power. From one side, it's money and power. Okay. You know what I'm saying? And with them, it's like I said, I'm not. Y'all trying to give the contract to make the vaccine to save us to basically, like I said, the lowest bidder. It don't matter if they got the best one, if they have the least amount of what's the names. Y'all not going for that. Y'all going for, you're gonna have to give it to people who can't pay for it. And in America, that ain't really a thing. You know what I'm saying? Giving it to people who can't pay for it. Example, they gave most Americans $1,200 to last for 9 months. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. They got that stimulus in 12, in March, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And people kept on losing jobs and all that kind of stuff. And they fighting over this for the last month trying to get it. But going back to, we want to say with the HBCU things, the future of homecomings is, I can see it getting back to normal, but I can't see it getting back to normal probably until 2022. Although I think it's going to be so much thirst next year,
right?
Because we so tired of being locked down, that I think if we got a little sliver, if it's like, look, man, you might get sick, but if you work it out afterwards, you be okay. If you ain't got a sick mom or grandmother or something around, a lot of people going, I think a lot of people going to roll that dice because they just tired of being in the crib. And it's
I think people are going to follow behind the larger corporations too, like the NCAA, the NBA, NFL.
Yeah.
If they open stadiums back up full capacity,
oh yeah,
people are going. It's going to be sold out.
Mm-hmm.
and people going to follow suit.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah.
I don't know if I mean, I can see me going to a baseball or football game. Anything that got a roof, B. Like,
no, I get it. I
yeah,
get it.
it's going to be a minute before I feel comfortable doing that. And look, I'm out here, you know, it's just me out here. My kids live with their mom, but I have an older, you know, their grandparents are older. You know what I'm saying? In their 60s. You know what I'm saying? They have, you know, things that are, you know, not so great with them. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I have to make sure that we don't do nothing stupid to get them sick.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We may be okay. My kids may be okay.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty good. Look, son, since this quarantine, I ain't had so much as a sniffle since March. So I'm cool. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm tired enough to be around nasty people. You know what I'm saying? You know, traveling back and forth to work and all that.
Right.
But you got to be mindful of what's going on with the people that's around you. And I think that's the thing that is bothering me about some people. Like, look, I know you healthy. I know you go to the gym. I know you're a vegan. I know you good. But you can still get sick. And they talking about you can't even show symptoms.
Symptoms, yeah. It depends on who you're around and your circumstances.
Yeah.
One thing I know about anybody I'm around. Go ahead, Chief.
When Noah go to school next year, if that gym is open, I'm at every game.
Right.
Right. So
you're just gonna find a nice spot, a nice little corner to chill at. You got a good sight line, but not be around people. Like, look,
yeah,
I dig it, man.
Like I think this is. It's gonna be so much hesitancy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, certain people certain people out here getting it now like it's not going on. You know what I'm saying? There's certain people,
states, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Georgia, Florida.
Exactly. But a lot of this world, we're gonna be moving differently from now on. Just because, man, because like it's like, let's be clear. Most of the people that's had this disease have recovered from it.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like the percentage wise, it's way more people that's recovered than have died, but way too many people have died. And that's scary to most people. It's like, you don't know if I catch it. Like if somebody catch it, sometimes people feel like they got cancer. Certain people, like, cause you can die from this. Like, so it's really scary.
It depends on what you got going on with you beforehand.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And
you got high blood pressure, or you have diabetes or something, and you catch it, or respiratory disease, something like that.
At this point, everybody knows somebody who's had it.
Yeah.
And probably everybody knows somebody who's died, or not somebody directly, but somebody's relative or something has died. Like I do.
I lost one of my mentors. One of my friends, somebody we both know, I won't name them, but they lost their sister-in-law. You know what I'm saying, over that early on. You know what I'm saying? I lost my mentor in like April. You know, so I don't know. Thank God we don't know anybody who lost their mom and their dad over the shit. But I'm sure there's people that had that like that.
Yeah, it's
and the fact that people are calling it a hoax and not being careful when it comes to that, I'm sure it's kind of disrespectful to them, because like, my dad died over that shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you're around here throwing a barbecue with 100 motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? And
it's crazy.
It just bugs me out that people do that. But like you said, on the other hand, you like, look, most of the people that I know, if not all of them, have recovered from it. If this is other people talking.
Right.
Me and my friends are pretty healthy. I don't have nobody that I'm around that has a pre-existing condition.
Right.
So it's like, their thing is, instead of you worrying about what I'm doing, maybe your ass shouldn't be here. Maybe you should go in the house. Maybe you should stay. And to be perfectly honest, I understand that argument. I don't agree with it.
Right.
But
I see it from both ways.
Okay.
No, if we was 22 years old,
right,
23 years old,
right,
I doubt seriously we'd have been okay with the quarantine. So I can't really be mad at the youngins for acting like that. You know what I'm saying? They just don't. And when you're young like that, depending on how you came up, you don't even know about mortality.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
They
never
say,
thinking about
like this. There's some people I know that's almost my age that haven't had a close friend, a parent, or a grandparent pass before.
Right.
Like, you don't know that seriousness or the finality of death.
Experience
and
the
you
greatest
don't
teacher.
Yeah, and you don't respect it like that until either you and you gotta go through that for a second for you to say, hold up, I lost my so and so, you know what I'm saying, because of this. Right. So I respect it now. Some people just don't respect it. So we took so many chances with our lives before we was 30 years old. Right. We just don't know. Go into the tunnel. Put your life in jeopardy, nigga. There was no way in the world.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Son, there was no way in the world that we were supposed to be in the tunnel. But we, son, that shit was more perilous than COVID.
we could do just an episode on that.
On the tunnel?
Yeah, on risking our lives.
Risking our lives.
Yes. Could do just an episode on that.
Son, going up and down I-95 or going to different places, seeing girls. All that shit was more dangerous than the Rona to me. Because that was imminent danger. That was somebody chasing you, somebody shooting at you. That was if I don't get out of here right now, it's gonna be real ugly. It's gonna be a problem. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a problem. Me and mine. But that's a whole other thing, man. So I understand both sides of the argument. And that's why I try not to, like, early on I used to diss people who be out there and shit. Like, y'all wild, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't believe that you people out here, just not respecting what the doctors are telling you. But as it's gotten, as we gotten through it, although it's a deadly disease, it don't seem like it's like the outbreak shit where if you catch it, it's a wrap for you until they get the antidote or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You could live with it. You could work it out, take care of it. We see Chris Cuomo on TV every day now. He caught it.
Here's the thing.
You know what I'm saying?
Here's the thing. Like, we try to practice here the mindset of, in our house that we treat it like we already have it and we don't want to spread it to somebody. Because we may be good, but we may spread it to somebody who may die from it. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to be responsible for nobody's death, for me being careless. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, that's how I explain it to my kids. Make sure that we don't give it to nobody else. Right. We gonna be okay because we stay in the crib. But we got to make sure we wash our hands and all that stuff, especially when we go to their grandparents' house. Right. We have to make sure that we, 100, and we around the other, my nephews and their aunts and uncles and stuff like that. So it's like, we all gotta be like that. I got this on my desk. Oh. I got one in my car and I got one in my bag. I keep hand sanitizer.
We need to start a hand sanitizer company or something.
Company.
You know what I'm saying? Just manufacture it, man.
So listen, it was like two.
I'll get a
pre-COVID.
I'll get a couple of gallons of aloe vera gel. We can start small, man. Sell it out the back of the trunk. You know what I'm saying? At the next homecoming, at Morgan's next homecoming, selling hand sanitizer out the trunk. Black owned, man. Black business. Black hand sanitizer.
From a food truck, nigga, with the thing up. Had it all lifted on shelves, hand sanitizer, different flavors and all that. Oh, you know what I'm saying?
The different essential oil hand sanitizer.
Exactly.
Son. I got some orange hand sanitizer in the car right now.
Some sandalwood.
Some Kush. Some Kush hand sanitizer.
Some Gorilla Glue No. 4.
Gorilla Glue hand sanitizer. But look. Before we go off on a tangent, one of the things we were talking about was we started talking about our homecoming.
Right.
And we started talking about HBUs. With all the stuff that's been going on with this race stuff.
Right.
We've been thinking a lot about this for us, by us mentality when it comes to everything, as far as buying black and things like that. And we always say, okay, if you support a black-owned business, then they'll be able to grow and they'll be able to flourish and do everything else. The same thing is true for black schools, HBCUs, especially the private one. You know what I'm saying? Morgan, is a state school. We got a lot of money from the state. Although our enrollment, built up too, but that I think remember it was $80 million or something they caught a few years ago. So we caught the new library, the new student center, the new stadium. You know what I'm saying? Upgraded the engineering building, which brought in a lot of money. So Morgan looks like nothing like we went to, what looked like we went to, which is a great thing. The new bridge and the area over there in Northwood is
so
outstanding.
Impressive.
You know what I'm saying?
Impressive.
Now, other schools, smaller schools, like some of the schools in, say some of the smaller schools in the southern states, St. John's College and, the Morris Browns and Clark Commanders of the world, you know what I'm saying? Like, they rely on, private donations and stuff like that. And, more importantly, the money that they get from the alumni in order to, make the school better and keep it going and improve and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
We try to figure out what are the things that those schools can do to help their situations, and what are some of the things that the alumni of those schools can do to help their situations. We all know, joining your alumni association and paying dues to that helps.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also things that the school can do to bring in that extra, income and stuff like that.
Right.
One of the biggest things recently, I think we started seeing on social media, high school basketball player Mikey Williams, that's his last name, T? Yeah, was talking about how the, Black athletes that are on his level, they don't have to go to the Dukes and North Carolinas and the UCLAs anymore. They can go to Black schools and flourish, and the NBA is still going to find them there. You know what I mean? Most of the time they doing work in their AAU, leagues anyway, and the seasons anyway. High school and even sometimes college might be a step down for them. You know what I'm saying? When they playing basketball, because in the AAU, time they're playing all the best. I mean, they are playing all the best players anyway. So what would be the thing that you think would be a good, some of the things that the schools can do to help raise the enrollment there, as well as reaching out to alumni and going hard with the fundraising things there? Or is it something that the alumni should be a little bit more, feel like it's more of a duty to do, like give back to their school?
Well, for me, I know firsthand from having my son be a basketball player that had 20 D1 offers. He had none from HBCUs. And in talking to some of those coaches who communicate with his high school coach, they didn't feel that they had the opportunity to get him. So they didn't try.
That's what I said to you. I said, they probably think they don't got a shot.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like, why even try? I didn't believe in that, but I thought that's what the reason why they didn't go at him.
Right.
But you have to put yourself out there. So my son's going D1. His teammates going to Villanova.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody offered him either from HBCU. You at least got to try.
So you think that's what it is?
Have.
You think the HBCUs automatically think they don't have a chance at certain athletes?
They don't. Because they don't have the budget.
And so
they don't have the
explain that. Wait, hold on.
facilities.
For those that don't know, what do you mean by the budget? Explain that. What does that mean?
I mean, you take like the Duke or North Carolina, their budget might be 10 times more than Morgan or Howard as far as athletics, meaning facilities, travel, nutrition,
Tutors.
Tutors.
Right. Okay. Right.
All that. Yeah.
So,
People to travel with them as far as academics are concerned.
Yeah, I get some
lot that goes
advisors
into
or
it.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, the main thing is the money issue as far as HBCU is concerned. We don't get those type of dollars in our universities. Like, and how can we? Like, how would we even be able to do that?
I think it'll take 4 classes of 10 of the top 100 athletes in that sport. 4 years in a row. 10 of the top 50 to go to HBCUs. May take more than that in order to sway. That's like maybe 20.
Right.
And of those 20, 10 of those got to be, or at least 5 to 10 of those got to be in the top 10. It got to be a real. It got to be somebody like the LeBron of that day will never go to a Black school, I don't think. If he does go to a Black school, to go to Howard. You know what I'm saying? Right. But it would have to be somebody, a high school player like that, like the next one that people all agree, like that the next dude. He got to say, I'm going to Howard. I'm going to Hampton. I'm going to Morgan. I'm going to Fisk. I'm going to somewhere. He got to be. Right. He got to say that. Excuse me. And he specifically has to say, I don't know what takes I want to be around my people. It didn't matter to me that they weren't on TV. It didn't matter to me that they didn't have the crazy gym. It didn't matter to me that we flew in the best. It didn't matter to me. I wanted to go where I felt comfortable at. And I felt comfortable being out here. And that same guy has to get dressed. And that same guy has to get drafted top 5 or something when he gets drafted to show the people that him playing that season or two at the HBCU didn't hurt him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's
He
what
has to
people
have
are
a good
worried
season.
about. Yeah, you're not going to get the exposure. And I'm like, oh, I be thinking to myself, if you ain't crazy nice, you might as well go to a black school.
Right.
You're going to have way more fun. I did both. I went to Ohio State, which is one of the biggest white schools in America.
Right. Of course. Uh-huh.
I went to St. John's University, which was in the middle.
Right. Right.
And then I went to Morgan, which is HBCU, one of the best.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I had way more fun at Morgan
Right.
Right.
than I had. Way more meaningful relationships were built at Morgan. Way
Of
more,
course.
it's a different vibe there. And I remember seeing something where somebody said, when you go to HBCU, the great thing is that's probably the only time in your life where you won't have to feel like somebody tolerating you.
Mm.
Like you won't feel like a visitor somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Like you won't like I love the fact that we don't got no black student union. Our whole school is a black student union.
Right.
We don't have to go nowhere and seek refuge away from the rest of the campus because we're not getting treated the right way.
Mm-hmm.
That's something we were talking about the HBCUs. We were talking about trying to get recruitment there.
Right.
I think that's some of some of the stuff that they should talk to them about. Yeah, we got Morgan academically, we don't have to be ashamed of nothing.
Right.
Morgan got one of the best hotel management programs, got one of the best business programs, got one of the best engineering programs.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Regardless of the level. Morgan puts out more, I think, people with postgraduate degrees than any other black school. And it's high up in that when it comes to schools in general, as far as the black people getting postgraduate degrees.
I think beyond the schools doing something, I think, those of us who've attended these HBCUs, we just got to continue to big it up. Like we weren't together this weekend for homecoming, but on all the social media platforms, everybody I knew that I went to school with was repping for Morgan crazy, posting pictures and videos and paraphernalia, and that's because they love the school. I mean, a lot of them graduated, a lot of them didn't graduate, but the thing is, we gained so much more than book knowledge there. We gain relationships that we have for the rest of our lives. We gain just a sense of family and community that continues years and like this. We're us three. We're friends, but we are brothers because we are part of a crew that came up together. But there's so many people outside of our crew that we love and have love for that went to Morgan.
That's still family.
They're like family, and that's something that HBCU got. It's something different, man. And I feel like, we just got to continue. Like if kids come to us and ask about college, like I'm always going to recommend Morgan. I'm always going to recommend an HBCU. Because that experience is necessary. That's the only thing we can do besides, paying our dues and, being part of the, alumni committee and things like that. Just continue to spread the word about it. That's one of the biggest ways, and people see that we have pride in where we went to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. One of the things that we were talking about earlier before we started was the fact that there are no HBCUs west of Texas.
Right.
And a lot of the country's population is west of Texas.
Right.
Yeah.
And how there would be like if there were just one HBCU in California.
Yeah.
Or Arizona or Nevada.
Let that sink in for the people.
Just
I wanted to sink in for the people for a second because I'm sure a lot of people don't even think about it. Like there are no HBCUs on the west of Texas, right? That's what you said? Like,
and they're like 134 or something like that, 131 overall. You know what I'm saying? But none west of Texas.
That's crazy. Like that is crazy. We are missing out on so many, intelligent, bright, young black students, that
there's one in California.
Right. That want to go to a HBCU.
There is one in California?
Yeah.
One.
What's the name of it?
Charles R. Drew University.
Where at?
Who's
Los
heard
Angeles.
of that? That's what I'm saying. Who's heard of that? Like
they need some PR.
Listen, that's what I'm saying. That's such a problem. That is such a problem. Like it needs we're missing out on so many students. Like there are people that may want to go to HBCU but don't want to go that far away from home to go to a college. Like that's crazy.
I can attest, being out here, it's tough when you're away from your people.
Right.
So I can imagine if you in Maryland or you in DC or you in Virginia or you in Florida, how tough it has to be away from your people in California. Like it's a whole nother vibe as far as the lifestyle and everything. Like it'll take a while for, if situation was reversed, if I was from California and I had to go to the East, it would take a while for me to get used to it.
Yeah, I'm not leaving California.
Yeah. Me knowing what I know now after living out here for, going on 10 years, if I had a choice from when I got out of high school, I'd have came here. Or Florida.
Right.
Damn, that snow, all that cold, that chipping the ice, all that. So, and imagine a HBCU where it don't rain and the average temperature is 80 degrees all year round.
Insane.
Imagine being there. Son, it can be homecoming every weekend. Son, there's no other HBCU that's in a climate like this.
Crazy. It's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like it'd be a whole nother vibe out here with just the sun and the palm trees and all that. And LA has a very, very proud Black history. California in general, the Panthers from out here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
John Carlos and Tommy Smith ran it for the Santa Monica Track Club. You know what I'm saying? One of them was the coach of the Santa Monica Track Club for years. You know what I'm saying? Those guys that put the fists up at the Olympics in Germany.
Crazy.
It's like, yo, man, it's like it should be, we got beautiful Black neighborhoods out here in Los Angeles. There's a lot of proud Black people in Los Angeles. A lot of people, Howard and Hampton is crazily represented out here.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about crazy.
Wow.
Like you bump into a lot of people, a lot of, alumni from Howard and Hampton out here, maybe some from Florida A&M. In entertainment out here, it's definitely a lot of Howard and Hampton, more so Howard than anything.
Mm-hmm.
FAMU has a lot of people too. But I think if they had a HBCU out here in California, it would be nuts. And they have a bunch of big community colleges that could easily be converted to there if somebody had the right plan and money, you know what I'm saying, to do it.
We have a African American vice president candidate who went to Howard. That's crazy.
From California.
From California. Crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, from California. I hope that one day, maybe, I hope before we check out this month, that they would have a HBCU out in California. I'd love for my kids are going to school in California because it's free. You know what I'm saying? Unless it happens drastically, you know what I'm saying, in my pockets before they, in the next, kind of 5th grade. So, next 7 years, and it's a bunch of great schools out here. You got Berkeley up north, you got UCLA, USC, you got Cal. It's a bunch of great schools out here she can go to for the free. So that's where, her and BDK will be going. But now, if they get scholarships, it's like I told my oldest daughter, you get a scholarship, you can go wherever you want to go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one thing that could say, that trumps everything. That trumps distance. That trumps money. That trumps everything. You can go for free. You can go.
I did my job.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Mommy and daddy got to pay for it. Guess what?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got to ask me some questions. You know what I'm saying? We got to talk about this. But yeah, man, I think we all can agree that going to HBCU for us was one of the best decisions that we made.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Yeah, if for nothing else, like you said, the connects that we made, the experience that we had, the friendships and
we've been friends for almost 30 years.
That we brought up. Yes.
Yeah, almost 30.
So yeah, and even it's like even people that you see like I came Morgan in 1991.
Mm-hmm.
I think I met Derek Chase 2 weeks after I met y'all, John.
Okay.
So I've known Chase longer than I've known most TTC.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Back when he was 4X Entertainment and they was throwing parties and shit. You know what I'm saying? But it's wild that you meet people like that. And then you get to see their kids and You know what I'm saying? They bring their kids up, you know, for homecoming, and you know, the kids get to see. Like, I was very proud. I brought my kids up there, I think 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was, you know, it was great just to see, you know, show them, you know, where I was at. And they still remember that.
Okay,
you know
that's
my
dope.
Daughter was,
that's dope.
Yeah, my daughter was, she 10, she was 6. You know what I'm saying, at that point. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
My son was still in the stroller.
That's
crazy. And he remembered that trip. He remembered the trip. I've only brought him to a college campus a couple of times. One time we went to, you know, UCLA to watch a couple of basketball games, and went to USC to watch some games. But other times, so when I say, remember we went, you know, when Dad went to college, and they remember that. So I think that's another thing. I think parents, if you're a legacy kid, like I think white parents, if you had if your father went to Yale and you went to Yale, your son's going to Yale.
Right.
He may not even have a choice.
Right.
Straight up. You know what I'm saying? He may not even have a choice.
Right.
Not only with the school he went to, but you may tell him that he got a major in this.
Right.
Crazy.
We got doctors, you know, Yale's produced doctors in this family for the last 3 generations. What you gonna do? Tell your dad no?
That's that pressure, man. That's crazy. That is crazy.
Man. So we got to get to that point, man. I think we got to start treating HBCUs like Ivy League schools treat themselves. We got to fundraise for those schools. We got to steer our kids to those schools, kind of make it where, you know, because look, if there's 130 something HBCUs, you'll find one you like.
Yeah, I mean, guaranteed.
You know what I'm saying?
Like,
you just gotta look hard enough, you know what I'm saying, to do that. I know people that went to, I hated Dell State. We used to go there and visit. I know people that love that school.
Yeah, like it's so much. Like, we have pride in our HBCUs like no other. Like it's. I feel like we're not lacking in that department. You know, it's the financials and how we go about like getting schools that money. I mean, and a lot of the HBCUs now are getting monies that they didn't get when we were going there. That's for sure.
Morgan getting a lot of money.
Morgan getting a lot of money. But
Morgan's getting a lot of money, but I think they have Dr. Wilson, David Wilson, the president of Morgan. Son, ever since he got the connect, Morgan has been flourishing. Not to say Dr. Richardson, who was the president before him, wasn't a good president, but I think we could all, you know, we all got 2 eyes. You know what I'm saying? We got perfect vision. Yeah. I don't wear glasses. Ever since Dr. Wilson been the president, son, Morgan done turned up. You know what I mean? And I remember when we used to talk to Mr. Talaferro and Mr. James, and when they were talking about putting the dress code in and stuff like that. And it got to the point where Morgan was wild. Y'all, we were there during that time when it was just, it was fights up there, shootouts and shit. From right. You know, met people getting kicked out. You know what I mean? So it was like, it got to the point where Mr. James was like, look, they trying to turn this more into Hampton. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And that, you know, with the dress codes and raising the SAT scores.
Morgan is part of the people going to watch this and be like,
oh, of course they will, but
they're gonna run with that.
Look, we know that there was, especially when we were coming up, there's a hierarchy when it came to HBCU. Now, until we went to Morgan and experienced it, we didn't realize it. But
we know.
You hear about it. You know what I'm saying? You hear about Howard. You hear about Hampton. You hear about Florida A&M. You hear about Morehouse and Spelman.
Right.
And you hear about Fisk University because they do, you know, with the doctors and everything like that.
Right. And we always was dubbed as the party school. I don't know why, because they party just as much as we do, but whatever. Go ahead.
Because of us, goddammit, but that's a whole nother story. But anyway, I think that just like white colleges, there is a cream of the crop when it comes to black colleges.
Agreed.
From what I know, especially over maybe the last decade, Morgan has been a part of that cream of the crop. You know what I'm saying?
Morgan's at the top.
Yeah. Morgan is one of the top schools just because of the stuff that we offer.
Just so we're clear, when we go in there, you didn't feel that way. Morgan wasn't at the top.
No, I definitely felt that way.
We were in the top 10, but not the top 5. Would you say that?
I've been to.
Oh no.
No, I wouldn't say
really
that.
think of when I went to. When I chose school,
I always felt our school was the underdog. I always felt that Morgan was the underdog.
I think underdog. underdogs are people who don't know better. I give you a perfect example. When these celebrities and stuff, when they want to feel good about themselves and they donate to black colleges, they always go to Howard first.
Oh yeah, of course.
I'm not going to say that Howard don't need the money because every black school needs the money.
Of course.
But that's an easy fix for them to go there.
Right.
Also DC and Baltimore.
Yeah. If they did their research, they would realize that there's a ton of schools that could use that money. You know what I'm saying? A ton of black schools that could use that money. State schools, for the most part, don't need that money. Morgan needs the money, but they don't need the money like Morris Brown needed the money years ago.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like Clark needed the money years ago. Like some of those schools, like it's an all black school in Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Lamar Owen College. You know what I'm saying? Like some of these things, like I know they need the money.
Right.
So it's like, because it's not like if I'm going from California, I'm going to no HBCU in California. I mean, in Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. I'm taking it. That's a flyover state to me, bro. I'm gonna be in the East.
Right.
Yeah.
One of those states. So it's like, it's just tough for them to recruit like that. But I think, like all the stuff we said, you get some sports guys there.
Right.
You get the alumni to recruit a little bit more to make the school more attractive. And the parents, even if you didn't go to a black school, like I always thought it was funny that God bless him, Earl Graves, neither of his sons went to Morgan. They went to Ivy League schools.
Of course.
You know,
they
end up working, but I always thought like, yo, they end up working for you. Mm-hmm. So, you know what I'm saying? It's not like they went to go work for J.P. Morgan or something like that.
Right.
They end up working for you.
Right.
So you could have still sent them to a HBCU.
Right.
You could have got all that blackness.
Right.
And they could have still went and worked for you. They could have did their postgraduate at, Ivy League, Columbia or something. Your office is based in California. I mean, in New York. So they could have went to Columbia, NYU or something like that and still flourish the same way.
Right. I mean,
so
I feel like, HBCUs have so many success stories that they should be able to sell themselves these days, but it still doesn't.
The success stories have to do more with pumping the HBCUs. We always hear about who went to Howard.
Right.
But there's so many other people that went to other schools that you may not even heard of. You know what I'm saying?
And that's another thing. Like, so many people that, we've gone to school with who are doing well, who are business owners and starting businesses and entrepreneurs and things like that. Like I see now that we are, particularly with what's going on with this world this year, besides COVID, the other overarching topic of this year has been the violation and the just disrespect of our people. You know what I'm saying, in this country. So with that happening, everybody is really starting to support black businesses. Do you feel that's happening? Like I see it happening. Like I see it a lot. Everybody's like, oh, who's I need a black plumber. I need a black this. I need a like. I see those questions being asked a whole lot more now.
Yeah, you know last few months.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, and that's. I hope it doesn't stop. I hope it continues, and I feel like it will continue. You know what I'm saying?
What you said in the beginning was right. You said there are people looking more for black plumbers and other. We need to look for
This is
a good black business in every industry in which we spend our money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying just give your money to anybody, because we deserve, we work hard for our money, so we deserve good service and everything for that money that we give. But if you, in certain instances, if you can use black-owned business, that should be a way of life for us.
Right.
That's the only way we're going to come up. Exactly. It should be the first option. And we shouldn't feel bad about that being the first option, because there are other ethnicities, Asians specifically, that's how they want it. I'm out here in California, there's a ton of them. You know what I'm saying? They don't rock, they go outside the community. Same thing with Mexicans. They go outside the community when they have to. I'm
they
sure
get their money
$8
and bring it right back.
Yeah, exactly, which is what we should be doing.
I think it's starting to go on now. I think it's happening more now. That's what I feel like. That's how I feel about it.
How do we make it sustainable though? because it always seems like we go through the pep rally part of our
Right.
blackness, and then we go away. I give you, like, for example, say Biden wins in November.
Okay.
Are we going to forget about all this because we got homeboy out of office?
No.
Or are we gonna? And that's what I worry about. I worry about us going back to complacency once our common enemy is away now.
Mm-hmm. I think.
How do we do that? Like, one thing I wanted to start doing, but I kept falling to the side, is trying to find out a way to focus, or showcase a black business. You know what I'm saying? I think one day, soon in this podcast, we'll probably add that to,
Yo, absolutely.
Something that
we talked about that.
We talked about that. But I definitely think that's something that we should do. And anybody that has a platform where other people can hear you, you know what I'm saying? And anything, like you said, a good black plumber, a good black painter who does, house painting and stuff like that, mechanic, chef, caterer.
Listen.
Anything.
Car
dealership.
Case in point, my wife and I, we had to have our air conditioning unit replaced. So, we went to the usual channels of the local big ones that's around here to quote us a price. Then my daughter's friend has a friend who owns an HVAC company. So I was black on. I was like, I'm gonna talk to him. Spoke to him. We worked something out. He replaced the whole unit. Great price. Works great. More efficient. Bills are cheaper now. So it was a win-win. I'm like, this is the type of thing that needs to. Like, I didn't even think about a black-owned HVAC company. Like, how many times do you think about that when, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's things like
very
that.
Rarely do you see that. Yeah, very rarely do you see that.
Yes.
But we got to treat them the same way we do white companies.
Oh, yeah.
Not asking for discounts.
Oh, yeah. No, I
paying their rate. Like,
yeah, I agree that. I didn't try to haggle.
Not only that,
like, you know, what's the price?
But we also have to do, like, we have to spread the gospel, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you find some good service like that, it's up to us to use our platform, you know what I'm saying, whether it be social media or whatever, to say, look, I had to get the, AC unit service that changed in my house. Spoke to this man right here, black-owned business. Excellent service, great price. And I didn't even have to haggle the price. It was a great price when he first told me what it was. You know what I'm saying? To get great work. Now it's frosty in here. You know what I'm saying? Anybody got some issues? I suggest you. I suggest you know what I'm saying? You look at it. That's called promotion and support.
I see that happening.
I do see it more. I do see it more.
I'm doing it more. I'm trying to do it more myself. All my friends that have black business, and I have a lot of friends that are entrepreneurs, and we all do. You know what I'm saying? I try to, you know what I'm saying, keep at the top of my mind. I may post them on social media randomly or whatever. Like, I just got to continue to do that, because spreading the word, those little things help, man. It helps. It helps our community. It's not on a huge level, but it'll get there if we keep doing it. We'll be great. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think
most people operate on recommendations anyway.
Yes, exactly. Word of mouth. Word of mouth is one of the greatest things ever.
But it's very important for us to support one another by steering business to these companies. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like, I don't want to segue to the topic like this, but one of the things we wanted to talk about was reparations. It's been a big talk right now with the election coming up, and we wondering what
cash money,
what black people, what the candidates are going to do for black people. And one of the things they talked about was, any conversation when it comes to that got to start with reparations. That has to be part of any deal that they have with black people. I always thought that would be a hard sell for one reason and one reason only. I can't see old white men and white women that have been in power for 30, 40 years agreeing to anything financially that's going to help only black people. I just don't see that. I think that's when the black and / person of color shit gets, fuzzy. I also think that
Yeah, that's get messy.
That's where our people are true descendants of slaves because my grandmother was born here.
Mhm.
But does that mean that because your grandmother was from Haiti,
My father.
or somebody else, or Garth's
Yeah.
grandmother was from Jamaica,
Right.
that they don't deserve any money? Like y'all went through the same stuff that I did here with racism and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Your parents went through that too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? No matter how long they was here, just off the color of their skin alone.
It's so blurred.
Yeah.
It's great.
And I see that.
What's the requirements for reparations? Is it just slavery, or is it the racism?
Right.
I see that, and that's where the line's going to get blurred, and that's where I think that will be held up in litigation forever, because there's really no way. I mean, you could prove that your people was born here if you want to do that.
Right.
But can you prove that the person that came from Trinity didn't have the same
right and
BS that he had to go that we had to go through?
And then like me, like what if part of your family may be from the South, but then the other part of your family, like your father's side is from Haiti. You know what I'm saying? He came here in his 20s. You know what I'm saying? But you are a descendant of slaves because on your mother's side, your grandmother's from the South, and like so
you get half.
It's like you get half. You get a percent. Like how do they work that out? Like how does that work?
And how is that fair?
Exactly.
How is that fair? And the wild shit is to me when it comes to reparations, and this how let me not say all white people. The white people that oppose this don't even realize that most of that money y'all gonna get back anyway. We're gonna put that right back into the economy.
Right back into the economy.
Right.
And when I say that, I don't mean to say just some frivolous shit either. I know there will be a whole bunch of homes bought. You know what I'm saying? I think there will be money put towards good shit. Yeah. Is there gonna be a whole bunch of rollies and shit bought too? Yes. You know what I'm saying? And to be honest, you can't get mad for nobody doing that. I was talking to my ex-wife's dad the other day, and we were having a conversation about reparations. He was like, "You can't get all these people money. They're gonna run right through it because they don't know how to manage it."
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And my thing was, I agree with you. Not everybody's gonna manage that money the right way.
Right.
But if this is exactly, if you want to spend all that shit on Sour Patch Kids, it's your right. Now, if you end up ass out on the end, then that's just your fault. Exactly. I want to hear none of that. Right. At this point in 2020, if we got the money tomorrow, Bob Johnson had Bob Johnson, the guy used to own BET.
Right.
Yeah.
He came up with a number, $1.3 trillion. I think $357,000 one-time payment, tax-free payment per person. 40 million.
Family. Okay.
40 million eligible black people. Number he threw out.
Right.
3.7. I mean, either 375,000 or 357,000, something like that.
Right.
I'm thinking to myself, well, I know a lot of you runners that went broke. So, I can easily see some nigga running through $375,000.
Yeah.
When I tried to tell Pops, it was like, that affliction is not exclusive to black people.
Right. No, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? You give 40 million white people $375,000 tax free. Half of them messing that money up.
Yeah.
Because they don't know what to do with it.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? So, we talked about different things about putting stipulations, like you got to go through some type of financial literacy class and all that. And I was like, that sounds good.
Right.
At the end of the day, if you're trying to pay them for a mistake that you made,
you gotta let them. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't make me jump through no hoops to get my money. Just cut me my check, Duke. You know what I'm saying? And then if I mess it up, I mess it up. But cut me my check. I don't want to hear none of that. Cut me my check, no tax. I'll work it out. Now I'm saying this because I know if you gave me and my friends $375,000 a piece, we probably ain't got to work again because we'll find out how to work it out.
Of course.
Now there's some people that are not on that level that you got to be like, damn, what you got to do, and maybe that's what maybe we start a business teaching motherfuckers how to work that money out.
Right.
But I don't think you can put any restrictions on that. And I think just because of what you got to do when it comes to like eligibility, I think, will be a big deal in our community.
Mhm.
And I think if certain people get cut out of it, I think it'll be a big issue. You know what I'm saying? Like, if, like, son, half TTC is from someplace else.
Yeah.
A good chunk of us, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
from someplace else, or got descendants from someplace else.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So, and where we from, the area of the country that we grew up in, if you're an immigrant, you might be fucked off with that. And the majority of our peoples, either their parents are immigrants or their grandparents are immigrants,
Yep.
especially from
Yep.
New York and New Jersey. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? Everybody knows somebody who's from somebody else.
Yep.
So a
Some
bunch,
island. That's
some
facts.
dudes that we know in our own
Yep.
brotherhood may not
Yep.
get no check because of where they people's from. So
Exactly.
how do you feel? So it's like, how do you feel about that? How do you reconcile that amongst those people?
That's messy. That's why
It's not going to be
happen.
reconciled. It's too blurry.
Yeah, it is. Unless they say this is only for the African descendants of slaves, then, and even if they do say that, other people are gonna feel some type of way about that because they've lived under they're not direct descendants of slaves, but they've lived under that systemic racism for years, and their parents have.
They not descendants of slaves from America.
From America, that's what I'm saying.
Their people just happened to get let off in the Caribbean or
Right.
Puerto Rico
Right.
on that way up
Right.
through the Middle Passage, and some of them got dropped off or left
Right.
or escaped to the point where they was able to stay on them islands. That don't make them any less oppressed if they grew up and had to work and go to school here. Though.
Facts. That's the truth.
Mhm.
That is true.
But see, that's why I'm like, if we keep it strictly to American descendants of slaves, we probably have a better chance of getting paid. But it's millions of people that we know. I mean, millions of people that look like us are going to be left behind because they can't prove that they were here, like their grandparents or great grandparents came from here. So that's one of the reasons, and the major reason, second major reason, other than them white boys ain't giving us nothing, is why I think reparations is going to be a hard sell for our people. Do I think we deserve it? Absolutely. But do I think that we're going to get it? I just think there's too much other stuff in the way of that. And I just tell my white friends at my old firm, like, look, some of y'all think that racism is just you calling somebody a nigga. No, racism is you can't live here. Racism is your rate for your home loan, if you get one, is different. Racism is, I'm not even going to consider hiring you because your name is too hard to say. Your hair might make somebody, the hair that grew out your goddamn head.
It's a little too, it curl a little too tight.
Yeah. Might make somebody uncomfortable. Why might it make somebody uncomfortable? Who the fuck knows? It's hair. Son, just recently, in the year of our Lord 2020, they put forth laws saying you can't discriminate somebody because of their hair. Not the hair that I colored.
Right.
Not the hair that I shaved off. The hair that grows out of my goddamn head.
Yeah.
That I didn't do
crazy.
nothing to. Makes you uncomfortable.
I mean,
that's the type of shit that we got to deal with just living.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Man, listen. That's why I drink my wine and I toke my weed every now and then. Because if I didn't, I'd be out here on some Rambo shit, ready to kill somebody, yo. We got to do something to self-medicate to make sure that we not crazy, or we got to just swallow it and always be the bigger person. Black people always got to be the bigger person. And to be
too much.
And to be perfectly honest, Black women got to be the bigger person more than anybody.
That's the truth.
They get the angry stigma from us. They get the angry stigma from every other people, and all they do is speak their mind.
Yep.
They got to swallow so much shit just to exist. You can't wear your hair the way this is. You can't talk the way you do. You can't be shaped the way you are. because you make other people uncomfortable. Because Carol's shaped like a goddamn pogo stick. She don't like you because you got a fat ass, so you got to change every way you wear when you go to work and shit like that to make her uncomfortable.
But then
that's what black women got to go through.
Then there's so many celebrities that are augmenting their facial features and body features.
Are celebrating.
To emulate what? To emulate what?
Son, the Kardashians made a fortune for their whole family. So look like the average black chick that we grew up with. Her body ain't crazy like that.
Well, Ray J helped with that.
Yeah.
Son, come on, man.
Brandy's brother.
Her body ain't, son. Her body ain't better than Delicious body. Let's keep it 1,000, nigga. Let's keep it 1,000. Man, please. I wouldn't take Shorty over Nia Long 10 out of 10 times. You can offer me money too. I'm sticking with Shorty, son. Anyway, come on, man. Come on, man. Yeah, I used not for nothing. I used to say the same thing about J-Lo back in the day. Like, look, it's not like I don't know J-Lo ain't bad and all that, but we grew up in New York and New Jersey. There's a Puerto Rican like J-Lo on every block.
Yeah, I'm from Washington Heights.
Yeah. Son, they working at the supermarket. You know what I'm saying? I mean, delivering, she taking my order at the pizza, blowing J-Lo out.
Right.
Body and all that. You know what I'm saying? Right. Out of here. That's other people who not used to
see. Yeah, it's just like
made it some crazy shit. It's like her ass full of liquid cement, and y'all done made her to a superstar. You know what I'm saying?
J-Lo, man.
No, I'm not talking about J-Lo.
No.
I'm not talking about J-Lo.
Let's be clear.
Look. Other people say, she got some work done on that stuff. I'm like, look, she might have got some work done.
So what?
Her ass not fake. We know that. You know what I'm saying? She might have got some work done on that stuff, but J-Lo official. Mm-hmm. If J-Lo didn't get no work done, she'd be a notch or two lower than what she was. She wouldn't be totally washed. She got too much money for that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right. Listen,
but
I always view it. I always listen. You get your plastic surgery.
I don't know how he got on this, by the way.
What are you talking about? Reparations?
I know.
Yeah.
We went from reparations to talking about J-Lo's body. How did that happen?
It's the wine, nigga. That's how it happened.
Nigga, you heard what I said.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? That's
what actually, but since we talking about entertainment, it's something big we want to talk about on here.
What? Okay.
And it was the choices that we had as far as entertainment goes during the quarantine, and what our choices are going to look like after the quarantine.
Now,
because I mean, I don't know when after is going to be,
right?
But let's say a year from now, and we talked about it a little bit. We were talking about the homecoming thing, but for example, me and my kids. Mm-hmm. One of me and my kids' things was going to the movies.
Okay.
That was our thing. You know what I'm saying? We used to do that all the time.
Right.
Anything new we wanted to see out, we going to see the movies. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Son, you could melt and pour me in a movie theater right now. And I don't know when
I'm the movie bad.
Me too, man.
Hey man, that's see, once y'all come into the Fire Stick life, all that changed, beloved.
Nah, that gotta be seen on the big screen, man.
No,
certain movies
it don't
go.
Don't look. What you do
is get a big screen, a big screen.
Exactly. You can buy a projector. I have a projector. I'm gonna get a movie screen. I'll turn the TV down, pop some popcorn. I'll do the same thing. I don't gotta do nothing to put my life on the line. Especially not no movie. You know what I'm saying? I want to see it. I love the actor. You know what I'm saying? That's the one with Denzel's son. John David Washington. Yeah, great actor.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to see him in his role. It seems like he'll do good in that action role since he was an athlete and all that other stuff. Mm-hmm. But son, I don't want to wait to see it. You know what I'm saying? Because it won't be around too long. You know what I'm saying? So if I got to see it through the Fire Stick, I will. I support the God in another way.
It'll be on demand.
Criminal activity.
It'll be on demand soon. It'll be on demand soon.
But look, will y'all ever Teef, you talked about it earlier. Like if when your son goes to school and like it, you go into his games. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna take the precautions and all that, but you go into his games.
Yeah.
Now, but that's father and son thing, so it's a little bit different. Are you going to still attend the NBA games that you used to go to? Are you still going to attend? Are you going to go to, like, at our age, especially bars and lounges is our thing. We don't really do the clubs and stuff no more.
Right.
Yeah.
But even in that, like now, unless you got an outside area or you got a balcony or you got something where it's open air at, white ain't going. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going nowhere where there ain't no open air or you give me an opportunity to go outside. And I'm sure I missed out on a bunch of things over the last few months.
Right.
Yeah.
But like I said earlier in this episode, I haven't had a sniffle in 9 months either. So I'll be okay, you know what I'm saying, with that.
Right.
But it's like, what's going to happen to Coachella and Stagecoach and all those other type of festivals? What's going to happen to, sporting events? What's going to happen to, I think if you build it, they'll come.
Okay.
I think everybody who's saying I ain't messing with that because of COVID, there's 5 people that's like, yo, I don't care. I'm there regardless.
Didn't they say they open the stadiums up for the World Series?
No, World Series would be World Series is gonna be a bubble situation at a neutral site for the first time.
It need to be.
Oh, okay.
It need to be.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at it, football sort of did the same thing. I remember watching Keyshawn Johnson in the morning on First Take one day.
Oh, First Take, yeah.
And he was like, look, every owner caught a check from a TV deal for over $100 million. Every single owner.
Right.
Yeah.
He said, in order to create 6 bubbles over the country for certain teams to go to, maybe 5 teams, so that was 30 football teams, 5 teams go to these bubbles, it would cost owners like $20 million. Is that a lot of money? Yes. Would they be able to probably do it and not have one test or have very low tests and not mess up the schedule and do that? Probably better to do that. But as good as that sounds, on the flip side, NFL, 6 games in now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only 3 or 4 teams have caught positive tests. Only 2 teams have caught widespread, where it's been more than 5, 10.
Right.
Some places is even people in the stands.
Yeah.
Depending on where you're playing at.
Oh yeah. I've seen that.
You know what I mean? So there are people that are going to be on the side of opening it up. That's going to be like, yo, see, it's working out for them. And if 1 or 2 people would have listened, they might not have had no tests. You look at the NBA.
Yes.
172 games.
Crazy.
Half the teams or a third of the teams in the bubble.
Right.
Not one test.
For 3-4 months?
Yeah. Over 100 days. I remember seeing the beautiful, might I add, reporter for ESPN reporting about how long she had been there. And she was like, yo, and the guy said to her, yo, this is your 100th day there. So she was a reporter. So he's like, LeBron, his son wasn't there. A lot of people's family wasn't there. You wait for 100 days, 3 months.
Right. That's a long time.
3 months and change.
That's a long time.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. People that had, it's players that had babies and all that during that time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they were able to sacrifice and say, look, we got to finish this season.
Right.
We got to get this money. You know what I'm saying? More importantly.
Right.
And, we could, if I ain't got to see you for 3 months, baby, look, trust me, when I come back, I'm coming back okay. But we got to take care of this to make sure that we good.
Right.
I think that's what the NFL could have done. But it's different because you got 15 people max on a basketball team.
So many more players on the NFL.
Yeah, it's 53 people on NFL team. Baseball got, I think, 25. You know what I'm saying? But even then, in baseball, it was only 1 team that really, or 2 teams that had like a wild out spread. Everybody else was pretty cool if you paid attention and were careful. So I don't know how that's going to move for music festivals or clubs and stuff like that. You just don't have the discipline.
Yeah, I don't see those happening either. At least for a few years.
Which
like
hurts.
stuff.
Yeah.
Coachella gave everybody their tickets back. There's another one I heard gave people their money back for their tickets.
I think the whole
South by Southwest kept everybody money though.
Yeah.
And then so get how you live.
That's just crazy. That's just crazy.
Read the fine print.
Read the fine print. So it's like, I don't know what's that going to be. And it seems like, especially when it came to hip hop, it moved away from the artist tour, although they still, the big artist toured.
Right. Yeah.
But, if you were a low rent or mid range artist, those festivals is how you ate.
Yeah.
Because there was a bunch of them that was going on around that time.
Uh-huh.
So, with the festival lane gone and the club date lane gone, unless you one of the top 10 artists out here, you having a problem.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got to diversify your thing. Like, I was listening to Conway's album, and he was talking about how much money they made off merch.
Yeah.
He's like, yo, I get so-and-so money with merch every time, $200 grand every time I drop. You know what I mean? That's somebody who thought about it. You know what I'm saying? He could probably live if you put $200 grand off merch. If you caught 25% of that, you know what I'm saying? That's a decent, you live in Buffalo. Ain't like you live in Manhattan, you know what I'm saying? He gonna be all right.
Right.
Yeah, that's what
But
West
for,
Side.
But on the let's say of a artist like, say an artist like Corday.
YB and Corday.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think he got the YBN no more. He dropped it, right?
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Oh, he did?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think he dropped the YBN.
Okay.
But Crazy Nice, one of the best young talents out here.
Yes, nice.
Actually got a lot of notoriety because he's dating a tennis champion, Naomi Osaka.
His album was fire. I definitely enjoyed the album. Yeah.
Yeah. But in order for him to make money, because you don't get no money off streams, you don't get no money off sales too much unless you make crazy money.
Not real money. Nope.
He got to get money off the tour.
Right.
So what's going to happen for artists like him? Who, I can't even think about if you a one-hit wonder and trying to get some money, you ass out for that because you not getting no publishing, you're not getting nothing but club dates off of that.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you're an artist or like even with movies and stuff like that, like think about all the stuff that paused. That may not come back or may come back or whatever from, after the COVID come, or it may be too late. You know what I'm saying? I was just, what was I looking at earlier today? And it said, I was reading about Live Nation. And they had to let off like 90% of their staff or something like that.
90%? Wow.
A large
they
amount.
They whole thing
is tours.
Yeah, that's
tours.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
That whole shit is up in the air, man.
Imagine a stadium that's supposed to pack that's thinking about packing with after the NFL season, that's 4 months. We got another 8 months to pay the bills up in here. So, we got rodeos and concerts and all that stuff. All that shit gone.
Yep.
Yeah. And
you know what I'm saying? So it's like,
and this,
how do you still stay in business?
It's crazy.
There's so many businesses closed.
Yeah.
They didn't come
the
back.
Entertainment business.
Coming back.
Yeah, the entertainment business and maybe the restaurant business probably took the biggest hits.
New York restaurants are
hurting.
Yeah. Although out here,
bad coming wintertime.
Yeah, I'm a foodie dude, so I'm used. I swear, I was just talking about that the other day, T. Out here in California, we can still we still eating outside.
Outside in December, yeah of course.
Yeah.
I went to brunch in Santa Monica on Saturday, my bad. It's 84 degrees, 10 o'clock in the morning. 10 blocks from the beach.
Right.
where it's usually go breezy and all that. Teeth, in Santa Monica, it's breezy out there. Yeah. So, but, and because of heat lamps and the fact that it don't rain out here, we can maybe eat outside in certain places all through the winter.
Yeah.
They only get cold in Cali at night. It's warm out here. Even if it's 70, you get a heat lamp at 5 o'clock, you good.
Right.
For dinner.
Yeah.
If you at dinner at 9, then it might be a little cold. But 4, 5, 6 o'clock, you're still in the game.
Right.
But other places that's cold weather. Like I remember seeing some picture of somebody eating in New York, and they actually had the tables and the chairs like in the goddamn bus lane.
Yeah, that's where they at.
It's cars going by, soot and shit, you know what I'm saying? Rocks and shit popping up. I'm like, I'm not doing that, man. I Uber Eats that or something like that before I
We
eat
haven't
out
gone
there.
out to eat in the city since everything shut down. I'm not eating on the street.
That's how I feel about that. That's how I feel about that. I'm not eating on the street.
I'm not mad at that.
I'm not eating on the street. And that's the good thing about living in California when it comes to that.
Yeah.
A lot of places got outdoor seating because it's so nice out
Of
here.
course.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you can find something. Right. You can go to the beaches. You can do all that. I had a beach day probably about 2 weeks ago. I went to the beach on Tuesday. Took the day off. Went to the beach.
It's been nice.
Went to the Dockweiler Beach. But
Okay.
Dockweiler Beach is known as a quote unquote black beach out here because it's the closest beach to the hood.
Okay.
And they usually have fire pits and stuff there, but they had all those taken up out of the sand. And people were social distance.
Mm-hmm.
You could bring your tents out there.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a different vibe because usually around this time, we get our Indian summer and it'd be packed out there on the weekends and stuff like that. But it's just wild to see it. Now, the benefits of that is, especially out here, no traffic compared to what LA traffic usually is.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I don't mind not being in a packed spot. Like if I go to a restaurant, I don't mind not having somebody in a table right next to me, outside or inside.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind it being somebody over there. I don't want to hear your conversation. You know what I'm saying? I don't want you to hear my conversation. I want to be a part of each other. Now, I know that don't work out for the restaurants as far as money's concerned, but
how
ain't none of my business.
With 25% capacity.
You had to be smart enough to learn how to adapt when it came to that delivery shit. Like if you got good food, your clientele should hold you down because they'll eat it regardless.
True.
A good restaurant would do that. A bar is something different. You can get a drink anyway.
Yeah.
a good restaurant though, if you got good clientele and you used to being packed, I think if you of course you don't want to just rely on DoorDash and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because I spoke to somebody at work at a restaurant and they was talking about how DoorDash and Uber Eats, although it's good for them because it keeps, it delivers their food.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the percentage is too high though.
Yeah, their margins once they have to pay those delivery services are minimal. They don't hardly make any money off of that.
Yeah.
So a lot of restaurants will ask you, please go through us for the delivery and stuff like that. But if you didn't have a good contingency plan, if you don't have a nephew or you ain't ready to hire somebody to do that delivery for you, then you're gonna lose money because it's like, damn, I gotta pay this person to deliver the food now. And if he works for me and he's in the building, I gotta operate for the next hour while he's out delivering, food and stuff.
Too many.
So it's just crazy.
Too many fees of those delivery services.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate that shit.
Very much.
Even some of the big restaurants closed, like Vandal in New York closed.
Word?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. It's crazy. That's what I'm
You
saying,
know what's
man.
funny though?
What?
I ain't heard about no Boo having no problems. In neither location, Malibu or Beverly Hills. They still popping.
Yeah, y'all.
Sir,
Y'all outside.
listen, when you come out here to Cali, Teeth, when you go to the PCH and all those restaurants that are on there, Moon Shadows and son, none of them shit's closed.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Not only are they popping, they more expensive than any of the other restaurants that are closing. The Four Wing and Fry Shack are closed, but Gladstone's that's selling the steak for $65 still popping.
You might not trust the Four Wing, the Four Wing spot.
But I don't know where I like going to restaurants and stuff like that. Every now and then I dip and dodge when I've had somewhere where it's open. But I also like going to music festivals and seeing live music. I don't know what the future for that is. Like, because I'm not going back there anytime soon. I'm not getting no vaccine anytime soon. They can come out with that shit tomorrow.
Yeah, for real.
So it's like I just don't know where that is. So a lot of stuff, you got to figure out at the crib. Thank God for the Netflixes and the Hulus and all that the world.
Oh yeah.
But because of the type of people that we are, we ain't the type of people that just sit in the crib and watch TV all day either. No. You know what I'm saying? Especially like ain't no more basketball.
Right.
Ain't no more basketball.
Well, crazy
football. Baseball gonna be over soon in 2 weeks.
I watch baseball.
Yeah. Football be over in 3 months. Yeah. And hopefully basketball will be back, but who knows what's gonna happen.
Right. Exactly.
So it's like I think this has been a time for people to, if you with somebody that you weren't sure of, that shit came out loud and clear during this time. Because a lot of times you could just be with people if you going out or you spending money or something. You know what I'm saying? It got to be that. But can you really be in the crib and play spades with 2-hand spades with this chick because you can't leave with nobody else? Can you play Monopoly with the person you in the crib with and have a good time? Can y'all binge watch a show and not get on each other's nerves? After you didn't have to be in the house with her all day working, or in the house with him all day working.
Right.
Because before then, you treasured your time with your spouse or your significant other because you was away from them most of the day.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you was out in the street hustling or working or whatever you had to do, when you got back home, it's like, damn, I finally get the chance to see my family. After I done been to work from 7 o'clock and then had to work overtime until 9, till 7 o'clock. You work 12 hours, you come home, you get to eat dinner with them before you got to see the kids go to bed.
Yeah.
And then you got to, hopefully, have, be a husband to your wife or be a wife to your husband. Mm-hmm. God forbid you have a, you have a second business. You got to work on that. Mm-hmm. So it's just a tough thing to, do. And you don't have no outlet. My outlet was always going to a bar, talking shit to the bartender, just chilling, having a couple of drinks, and then I go to wherever I'm going.
Right.
But now I can't do that. It ain't the same doing that at the crib.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It tastes the same, but it don't feel. So, but one thing I do is like for my birthday, I had, something at Palm Springs at a crib where people that I knew was just, I knew who, how their quarantine bubble was. I knew how this person quarantine bubble was. Right. So it was cool for us to just get together and chill.
Right.
I had planned on going to Puerto Rico or Greece for my birthday. That's my 50th. Mm-hmm. But I wasn't comfortable being in the plane for that long. I didn't know how they, how they was doing it in Puerto Rico or how they was doing it in Greece at that particular time. Mm-hmm. So I had to pull all that back. And what that did was made me find places in the continental U.S. to go out and have a good time. Whether that be a bed and breakfast. So when I went to Napa, I went to Napa right before COVID hit. But I would love to go there again because it was, 75% of the stuff I didn't get a chance to do. I just didn't have enough time up there. So what it did was make me actually get cool with whoever I was chilling with. You know what I'm saying? You make sure that you and them was on a good level. And then it's like, okay, can I be with this person for, an extended amount of time? Some people you could chill with great for a day. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Come home from the club with them or they come chill with you for a day or something. I'll be okay, go get some drinks, go chill out Saturday, whatever. Sunday, 10 o'clock, you like, what you trying to do? Because I got something to do like later.
Yeah.
So I think one thing that the quarantine did was it pared down your entertainment choices. It made you kind of focus on other stuff, try to find out stuff about yourself that you liked, because maybe you didn't know that you liked riding a bike as much until you got one because you needed to get out of the house when you was quarantined. Maybe you didn't know you liked that TV as much. Maybe you didn't know that you liked taking pictures as much. Maybe you didn't know you liked doing any of that stuff as much. Maybe you didn't know you liked doing that stuff with this person as much until you had a chance to do that because of this. So as foul as this whole shit has been, and I hate saying there was positive to this because there's so many people that lost people. There ain't but 300 million people in the United States, and we lost over 200,000 and keep on, and keep on losing them. So
crazy.
I hate saying that there was a positive to this. Yeah. But I do appreciate the fact that there were things and stuff that I found out about myself
Mm-hmm.
and found out about people that I was cool with, my friends and shit. I seen people who, a couple of our friends wrote books during that time. A couple of our friends went back to school, got in shape. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So as foul as this whole shit was, it was good to see that people took advantage of this time either at home or the extra time that they had it and moved on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Did
I
something
mean,
else.
we could talk about this quarantine shit
Yeah.
because it affected all of us in many ways, and we will talk about it maybe on the next episode. But we calling it quits right now. Y'all heard of us. We heard enough of us speak. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully y'all enjoyed yourselves. I had a good time with my brothers. We always have a good time. So we
Yes, sir.
hope y'all had a good time. So, and maybe y'all join us on the next one and the next one after that because we're gonna keep it going.